Hey guys, welcome to Fiddlehed Fiddle Lessons. Today we're going to learn about the Mixolydian mode, kind of getting into music nerd territory here. But even if theory scares you, I recommend you do this lesson because I think it'll be fun for you. And I'll just briefly mention kind of the why bother learning this, and then we'll get into doing it, and then I'll talk more about the why later. But basically, if you really practice scales, they can accelerate your learning and really help you to hear music more deeply. If you can hear the scales and tunes, then you can figure out tunes more easily on your own without any book, or you just more quickly be able to pick things up from hearing. And that's happens when you really deeply practice scales and then the tunes that use them. So that's why I'm doing this lesson. And I want it to be fun. I think that my philosophy, my fiddlosophy, is that scales don't have to suck. They can be a good time. And so let's try to have a good time today. So we're gonna do the Mixolydian mode, and we're gonna start by playing a simple D major scale. I'm gonna use a D drone at first. So, D. I'm a big fan of drones. It's a great way to practice, have fun practicing, and to kind of go deeper with the music as well. So let's play D major scale, open D. 1, 2, 3, open A. 1, 2, 3. If you have never done that before, this lesson might be too much. So just a caveat, if you're an absolute beginner, you can watch it, but it might be frustrating the whole. Okay, so there we go, D major scale. Now let's start the next octave of D major. A3, open E, 1, low 2, 3, 4. 4 is optional. So we added these notes. Now let's do the D major scale with those 4 notes added. It's still all D major, right? Because this is D, E, F sharp, G, A. Just like this, D, E, F sharp, G, A. So I'm gonna do this full range, and then we're gonna do something kind of magical. There's the basic scale, and continue up. Okay, so now all we're gonna do is we're gonna center these same notes on A instead of D. So we're gonna start on A, open A, and go up to high A. But it's the same exact notes as the D major scale. We're gonna do one more thing to complete the magic, the alchemy of how modes work. We're gonna switch the drone to A. And this is equivalent if you're playing with a backup instrument, they would be playing an A chord. All right, so I'm not gonna get too into the weeds on chords. There's more fine details we could talk about with how the chords relate to this. And the basic thing I wanna get you doing is just playing it. So if you get lost at any point in the way, just play it. My whole philosophy on theory is to just play your theory. And if something doesn't make sense, just play it and let it sit on the back burner until you have that aha moment. Okay, so we're gonna start an A drone now, and then we're gonna do we're gonna do those notes, the notes of the D scale. We're gonna start on A. And we have a different quality sound now of scale. All right, so I recommend you just take a brief moment, pause the video, and practice that A Mixolydian scale. If it doesn't make sense, don't worry about it, just play it. It's very important to constantly play your theory. Okay, cool. So thanks for doing that. And now let's just give an example in a tune. So using the same drone, here's a tune that uses a Mixolydian, Old Joe Clark. So first play the scale. And now let's play the tune. I'll just do a somewhat simple version. And it works for more complex versions too. So, okay, cool. Another tune we could do would be Red-Haired Boy. It lends, this scale has a bit of a bluesy sound to it, if you listen to it. With a few added chromatic notes, it would sound even more bluesy. But it's not a lesson on that. I don't want to get too distracted. So now what I want to think about is a different way to get to this scale. And just bear with me. It'll be fun. It may not make sense, but I think it'll be fun. So basically what we can do is, I'm going to put the A drone back on, but let's play an A major. What's going on here is that this is basically the A major scale. Play an A major scale, so like D major, but starting on open. A, 1, 2, 3. Now regular 2, that 2 is G sharp. Let's do it together. 2, 3, 4, A. All right. So now, if you want to create a Mixolydian scale from a major scale, all you do is flatten the 7th step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's for the A major, and now I'll just lower that to G natural from G sharp, right? So that's a different way we got to the same result of A Mixolydian. We started with A major, but then play E low 2 instead of E2, and we get A Mixolydian. All right, so now we're gonna, if you're with me so far, cool, and if you're a little shaky on it, stay with me, please. Just keep playing the theory. Have faith that it's gonna come. It may come in a week or a month. Just don't worry about it. Just be playing, constantly play. So now we're gonna go back to D, and we're gonna do the same method to get to D Mixolydian. We're gonna play the D major scale, and then we're gonna flatten the 7th step. So here we go. I feel like such a music nerd today. That's a normal D major scale, right? So now we're gonna take the 7th step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is C sharp, and play C natural, A low 2. You could do Old Joe Clark, but start it on A to kind of practice this. All right, And so now comes the moment of truth. Are you ready for the moment of truth? See if you can figure out, if we are playing D Mixolydian, what is its parent major scale? What in major scale was that built from? I'm going to tell you the answer. So think about it for a sec, then I'm going to give you a hint. Okay, so the hint is, go back to the process we did for figuring out a Mixolydian. Very first thing we did is we played D major. We played all the notes a little further, and then we started it on the 5th step of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is A, and then that was our starting point for a Mixolydian. So if I'm playing D Mixolydian, how can you reverse engineer it to get to what the parent major scale is? I'll give you just another couple seconds. Think about it. If you need more time, pause the video. I'm going to go ahead and say that its parent is G major. So now I'm just going to walk through the process of how we get there through the first method. Play G major scale. Play the next 4 notes of the same scale. So D3 is G, A, B, C, D. G, A, B, C, D. All right? So it's all G major, not changing the notes at all. This is part of the magic of this. But instead of starting on G, instead of centering it on G, we start it on D. And now we're in D Mixolydian, and it magically has a different sound than G major, all right? Here's D Mixolydian with a D drone. The drone, or playing with a chord backup, really helps center it and creates the magic of these modes, okay? So here we go. D Mixolydian. A low 2. Play around with it on your own. A tune that uses this that I teach on the site is called Kitty Puss, and it's in D Mixolydian. Can you hear the Mixolydian scale in that? Let's play it again. Now listen to the B part of Kitty Puss. Can you hear it? I'll do it again. All right. Pretty fun stuff. So let's just walk more quickly, do the process for a few other scales. So if we wanted to do, I'm just going to pull some out of the ether here. Play a C major scale, so which is like G major upper octave. We start G3. Count up 5 notes. That's G. So now, if I play the notes of C major, starting there, I get the Mixolydian. But E low 1, low 2. And I'll add the drone, C drone. Actually, I'm wrong, G drone. By the way, for these drones, I'm using an app called iTabla. I also have drones on the Fiddlehed website on the pages, and there will be one on the page for this lesson, which you can see if you just follow the link wherever you're watching this. See, this is G Mixolydian. Let's do one more example. Let's do the one we haven't done. Have we done G Mixolydian? No, we haven't. So if you want to play, we're on G now. Oh no, we just did G Mixolydian. But let's do it a different way. Instead of playing up here, let's start with G major. So that's open 1, 2, 3, open D, 1, 2, 3. And now lower the 7th step. So we have. That's the sweet note. All right, so that's roughly it about the Mixolydian scale, and I just wanted to offer a few reasons why to do this, but I kind of went over it at the beginning, and then some practice tips. Actually, I think I pretty much covered most of the why LA there's crazy drivers. So what I want you to get from this is hearing the connection between scales and tunes. The more you do that, the more the scales will seem relevant. It's like you'll understand why we do it, and it'll make more sense. So I just want to give you now, to close out, a few practice tips. A lot of what we did already, but one way to practice it is to alternate between a parent scale and its Mixolydian. So you could go between D major and then its Mixolydian, A Mixolydian. Another way you could approach it is to go stay with the same root note, so stay with D and go from D major to D Mixolydian. Let's use a drone for that. So you could simply practice D major, D Mixolydian, D major, and keep alternating. Another very powerful thing to do is to alternate between a tune and its scale. And you could do this for any tune you learn, but we happen to be working with the Mixolydian. So Kitty Puss, we did this already. We would play the tune and then play the scale. That helps you to really hear it in your head. All right, so hopefully those practice tips are helpful. So if you found this lesson useful, then please just subscribe to the channel and like the video while you're at it. I also wanted to tell you that a big thing I started doing during the pandemic era was I started giving group lessons for Fiddlehed subscribers, and I just want to tell you about it because it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great way for students to connect with each other, but I've also really developed a lot of the current stuff I'm teaching by doing these group lessons. A lot of times the direct feedback with students really has opened my mind to oh, I was explaining this all wrong. And so the point is that they're very fun, and they're also a great way to take part in what's developing with Fiddlehed, because a lot of it I think is beyond me just a teacher. I'm the wise one who knows. No, it's a collective effort is really what's exciting about this whole thing to me. And so I just wanted to share it with you. In case you're not a subscriber, you can check it out for 2 weeks for free. Check out group lessons. Check out the entire site for free for 2 weeks. So I have to give you that plug, but I give it because I think it's really worth it as an experience, and you have nothing to lose, right? So just follow the link if you're interested. Okay, well that's it. Mixolydian mode. Hopefully it was, I didn't lose too many of you along the way. Give me your questions though. Give me you're tired, you're yearning to be free. I just totally messed up the Statue of Liberty thing. So anyway, as usual, I really try to listen to your comments and questions, and thanks for taking part. And now just go fiddle with it. Have some fun. All right. Go to fiddlehed.com for a progressive, step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more.
Thanks for watching the videography. Excellent.
And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.